Why do you need glass?
Float glass, tempered glass, toughened glass.
Natural light is essential for your well-being. It could lead to lot of complications.
So carcinogenic is something which causes cancer.
I had this conversation with a client. I said, I want to use Indian marble.
But still we are vitamin D deficient. The glass is 30% component of the window.
You can bump into the glass, and then if the glass breaks, is there a risk of fall on the other side? I want perfect ease and less noise.
So much fascination about imported stuff, and I don't know why.
In immediate say insulated glass laga, because that is the first ready-made answer any salesman would give.
Let's take this to the basics. Float glass, tempered glass, toughened glass, laminated.
I'll go one step still back and say, why do you need glass? It's such
Why
a
do you
burning-
need glass?
Yeah, to begin with, I would say, why glass?
Master class on glass begins now.
Because there are two properties that or two things that are desirable from glass. Two most desirable. There are other things, but main is that you want natural light. Natural light is essential for your well-being. If you don't get natural light in your office and home, where you spend most of your time, it could lead to lot of complications.
Vitamin D deficiency.
Including Alzheimer. And in cold
Depression.
countries where there is less of sun, they give forced holidays to staff to go and enjoy the sun somewhere so that they absorb and get countries like Finland. There it is essential. But in India, we are blessed. We have so much of sunlight. In fact, we have more problem,
and still
the
we are
problem of plenty.
But still we are vitamin D deficient. In
Because
spite of sun being sun all over the
Because we
place.
spend most of our time indoors.
Indoors. So it's very important for you to know that you spend time indoors. You need to have the right kind of glass to be able to get the sun in.
One is getting natural light in, and the other is the visibility through. Otherwise, you can have a blind wall.
Right.
So, if you want a visibility through, then you should be able to see from inside to the outside if it's good view, and if it is, So, these two important factors, they make the glass an essential building material, that where you got to consider these things in the very basic design, in the first principle.
So let's go to the basics.
Basic is that the glass is made by melting sand. Glass is molten sand with a few purifying materials put in.
Right.
Melt to a very high temperature, and then it is made to float on a bath of tin, because it's a molten tin, and liquids, they maintain their level,
So what I get outside in the market is float glass.
What you get from the shops
Which is
normally
easy to cut.
Is a float glass, and again float glass can be a clear float glass or a body tinted glass or a coated glass. Several heat property coatings put on the glass. So all of them come under the category of float glass. And then to make it more useful, you got to add more processes to it. That's our business.
Right.
And then to make it strong and safe, the first step or the first qualification is to go to tempered glass. And tempered glass is
Why should I buy tempered glass?
for two reasons: strength and safety.
Can you explain it in more simpler words?
Yes, in simpler words, your car side window
Right.
is a tempered glass, and if it breaks, it will break into small fragments, and the fragments will not be big enough to cause any substantial injuries. You might end up with a little.
So what's the
bruise.
difference? Like अगर float glass की जगह tempered लगाना तो cost का क्या added cost difference कितना है?
As a benchmark, you can put it double the cost if it is a clear glass.
Okay.
In tinted glass, because the basic glasses are more expensive, but the value added is same. So it could be, 25%,
Let's say from a
30% more.
perspective of window, the glass is 30% component of the window, the total product as a window.
I don't know. Mario would know that.
It's based on, of course, when we talk about performance glasses, laminated, insulated, then of course it becomes, but when we have just a single glass, 10%.
10%, okay. So for safety, you need to go to toughened glass.
Yes.
Has that become a norm if you go back 30 years now and now?
Now the best thing is that now there is a chapter inserted in National Building Codes,
Okay.
which identifies the critical locations.
Of your
Which is
house.
where you can bump into the glass, and if the glass breaks, is there a risk of fall on the other side? Because on the other side, if there is a balcony, there is no risk of fall. But in case there is no balcony, if you fall and that height of fall is more than 1.5 meters, then it is.
But it is presumed that your architect who's helping you design the homes And you're aware of all these factors, right?
Yes, I mean, it is presumed, but I don't think all of them are. I mean, only the ones who are conscious about these things, they study, they, talk to experts, they read, but I don't think all.
So I'm just changing tangent here. As a home builder, I'm presuming that you have been in the business for 30 plus years as family, 35.
Yeah.
And you would have done close to what, 300, 400 homes?
More, much more.
More?
Yeah.
Thousands of people who live there?
Yes.
So what has been your journey of understanding the subject of glass and windows, let's say from 22 years back that you joined? Now, let's say the top 5 mistakes that you as a builder developer made that you don't make anymore.
Before that, can I interject?
Sure, please.
You see, when as a builder or architect, you go for the occupancy certificate of the building, there are a number of certificates that you are required to put in. One is for fire safety, other is for electrical safety. So we are trying our best to get one where the architect is certifying that the glass used in the building is in conformity to the national building codes, because national building codes are voluntary codes. They are not mandatory yet. The mandate is upon the individual corporations to do that. But when we go to an architect or we tell our client to get this certificate from the architect that this is compliant with NBC, you throw up your hand. He says,
but as an end consumer, do you really know what NBC even means? I mean,
I think it is fairly well known.
But as a customer, have you had interactions with customer which says make my house based on national building code?
Not really.
What does your customer actually come to you and said, take my money and do whatever you want?
No, it's not that. So I think most customers, when they come to us, they know that technically, when it comes to the performance of the building or the functionality, all these things will be taken care of.
That's a presumption.
Yeah, they are just looking for aesthetics, nothing else.
It should look good.
Yeah.
Sundar lagna chahiye, badhiya lagna chahiye.
Matter,
Yeah.
It should look good. Functionality takes a backseat. I mean, second priority. Whereas I think as a builder or an architect, your first priority is to see that functionality is not compromised.
Yes.
And within that functionality requirements, if you are able to bring in the aesthetics, then you are a true artist and an engineer.
So interesting, I'll tell you, and this is a real incident, by the way, real conversation that I had.
We are all talking real incidents and conversations. This is not fake. This is not fake and not AI generated. This is real time.
And this is a conversation that I had with a client. So, the marble that we use, or यहाँ पर भी जो use हुआ है ना, all the imported marble, most of it, it's treated with resin. The cracks are filled with resin, and resin, it keeps and whenever you get sunlight, it emits those fumes, which are carcinogenic.
So carcinogenic is something which causes cancer.
Yeah, I had this conversation with the client. I said, I want to use Indian marble in the house, and the thing is, it won't shine as much, but it won't emit any carcinogenic fumes because there is no treatment of resin in that. So
why do you treat it with resin in the first place?
Because there are this marble, it's softer, and there are cracks. They fill the cracks
to fill up.
And Indian marble doesn't have it.
So
many of the Indian marbles.
A lot of Indian marbles, and they don't even even if you try and put resin, it won't stay. So any good Indian marble, or so if there are cracks, you have to just cut and
take them off.
Take it off. So you can't fill it and treat it.
What was your client's reply? I'm curious to know.
No, but कितनी देर में कितना ही वो fumes emit करता है,
उससे ज़्यादा तो
water bottle से पानी we want it to look we want it to look nice, and I tried to tell him, we can change the whole design language to make it look nice, but then they still no ये वाला चाहिए, this is the marble that we want only imported marble, so there's so much fascination about imported stuff, and I don't know why.
I tell you my own example. When I was building the house, so I went to a big marble guy who was a very close friend, and I asked him about what is the best material for the flooring in the house. He said it's vitrified tiles, and I said, but you are selling marble. He says, I am telling you, but I know that you will not put vitrified tiles because it will be below your
Status.
Aesthetic demands. Yeah.
So everybody asks this question, but ends up using the best looking marble.
Yeah.
Not necessarily the suitable
Yeah.
product to use, and that often happens in making decisions when you're not informed, so you end up making a lot of decisions where, but anyways, we are circumventing back to
windows
and glass, which is what our frame of today is. But going forward in episodes that we will be shooting, we'll be talking about individual subjects separately, but today we're taking a home owner's, let's say in that case me, or a builder's perspective on the application of doors and windows and glass in your respectable homes. So coming to money, I have a lot of money to spend, give me the best glass. How do you answer such a stupid question?
Well, the first question does not start it, I have this budget and what's the best I can put it in glass. It's not marble.
Right.
You have to understand what's the application. I have to see whether the glass that you are putting in your window, whether that window is having sun, incidence of sun or no. That's very important.
Can you explain this a little better from everybody's perspective? Incidence of sun. मतलब सीधी गालिच के हो जे
मतलब धूप पड़ रही है अगर शीशे पे
डायरेक्टली,
हाँ डायरेक्ट धूप पड़ रही है अगर शीशे पे, तो वो एक कंसिडरेशन है, तो उसके लिए डिसीजन अलग होगा. जिसमें धूप नहीं आ रही है, आपका ग्लास शेड में है, चाहे वो नेचुरल शेड हो, चाहे दूसरी बिल्डिंग का शेड हो, चाहे कोई एक्सटर्नल शेडिंग डिवाइस हो, या एक बड़ा छज्जा हो जिसमें ग्लास के ऊपर धूप नहीं आ रही है, then it is insulating glass is the best. But if there is a sun incident on it, we have had it, because then it is actually counterproductive, because then it will be bringing in more heat, which will come in, get trapped, and will not be able to escape.
Then we take this question of what is insulating glass and why do you need it?
It's a normal, this thing is double glazed glass, two glasses.
So double glazed, insulated is the same thing, DGU,
IGU, insulating glass, double glazed glass. It's the same thing. Basically, it is two panes of glass which are separated by a spacer from all four edges, and then it is sealed, so that from within the glass the air does not come out, or there is no air exchange. Because even if there is a slightest leak between these glasses, every time when the glasses get heated up, when the temperature outside is more, the air will expand and will try to leak out. And when the air is cold, in a cold winter day, air will be attracted in, air will come in, and with air will come bacteria, moisture. And then we actually have seen incidents where after some time you see insects inside the double glaze. They say you supplied me double glazed glass with insects inserted in it.
What a technology.
So it is that this is hermetically sealed glass, and again it's a function of the overall sealing of the window, but we have to be very selective. Another incident where somebody put it on a seashore and he wants to see the beach, or somebody was building a big hotel and then he said, I want skylight in the rooms where you can see the stars. Then you are talking not of any normal glass or tempered glass or laminated glass or insulated glass. Then you are talking of something known as anti-reflective glass, which in most common this thing is used in the army bunkers and tanks. Because what happens is, even a normal float glass has some reflection. Any light that is incident on the glass, some will go through, some will be reflected, some will be, energy will be absorbed. Now even if there is a slightest light source inside, let's say your cameras, your mobile phones, you will see that in the glass as a reflection, and that will prevent you from seeing through the glass into the ocean. So you need a special glass which is anti-reflective glass. When you say, I have all the money and I have my house near the ocean and I want to see ocean in the night,
right?
Anti-reflective glass. But if you say, what is the value added, I can't define it in terms of 2 times, 10 times, 100
Correct.
times. It is quite high. Quite high means in India, I think not more than 4 or 5 houses have used it so far.
Let me put out a practical question. So you buy a property which is on the main road, right? And a lot of people live on main roads, and it doesn't matter which location, which part of India, South India, North India, or anywhere, East Bombay. How do you make a decision of what kind of window, as you have to take in whatever the window maker has to tell you? How do you define from your own? Because that's your decision, right?
So what we do is we define the parameters.
Right.
We tell them our requirements. We don't give them a solution.
So can you define, if let's say so we are actually having an engagement here where Mario has come to pitch in the sale of windows to you. How do you define your requirement? How should any other builder define a requirement to a window maker?
So I mean, it's very simple. I'll tell Mario that this is the since it's on a main road, when I'm sitting inside and the windows are shut, I should not be able to hear any noise of the traffic or honking. Why did I specifically mention honking is because traffic noise and honking,
are two
different things. Even dogs barking at night. So
that's the biggest noise.
Yeah. So at night, especially.
So do you have a case where dogs are barking all the night because all the Swiggy, Zomato guys are delivering, and irrespective, they are barking and it wakes you up because somebody in your building ordered, it wasn't you, but it woke you up.
Yeah. So I'll just tell them that this is what I need, and it's up to him to give me a solution.
So you just listen to him blindly?
No, I hold him to it. If he doesn't give me that solution, I won't make his payment.
I love water and noise because it will prove you right or wrong. My first question is what you are actually looking for. In all our smartphones, there are apps where you can see your decibel level.
Yes.
So that a normal,
Mario, can you explain decibel level to people who don't understand decibel level?
it's the definition of noise. And even if I don't know the figure, the moment I have downloaded this app, I can see it myself. And normal road traffic is going maximum 85 decibel. Hunky, maybe on a train, goes to 100. And we feel peace, whatever is less than 60, 50, 40. 5-star says 5-star hotels are demanding 40 decibel on bed the moment the curtains are open. So, and these are things, parameters where I can start designing. My first question is then, what is your budget? I can make it less than 40, but every decibel is keep on adding additional money. Then I don't talk about DGU, insulated glass. I talk at times even 2 windows, but we can do it based on your budget. And then I'm asking my customer, that's why for Delhi it's quite a tricky question. Your ceiling fan and your AC has approximately 50 to 55 decibel of noise, which is at any case there. And when I'll give you windows with around a noise reduction reaching again to 50 to 55, as long as your AC and your ceiling fan or your ceiling fan is running, you don't hear the dog or you don't hear the honking. But now today in December in New Delhi, no AC, no fan. So then it is fully silent. And then of course I hear the road noise in a level of around 50 decibel. And this is very important to explain this point. I can go down to 40, but your project is becoming, I don't want to say unreasonable, but it becomes much, much more costly because you have to add on to reach to this figure what a 5-star hotel is looking for.
So in simpler words, Mario, if I ask you this question again, that if I'm making a house, right, building a house or even renovating a house and I'm planning to put windows in, what is the least things that I should know or ask my window maker what I should, or he should ask his window maker, what are the least things that you should know? Now you're not a technical guy, I'm not a technical guy, I don't know anything about
in terms
windows.
of noise
What
or
should
overall?
Or from, let's say, noise perspective to take it first.
Okay.
What is the thing that I should know and I should tell my window maker that he should contain?
Can I chip in for
Yeah,
noise? Because Mario used the term decibel and you asked the question what
What is a decibel?
Now, the measurement of decibel is on the logarithmic scale. If there is one person singing outside,
Right.
if the decibel level is 70,
Right.
and if there are chorus of 10 people singing, it will be 75. So, the increment of 5 decibels or 3 decibels is not actually, let's say, on 50, if you are getting 60, or from 60 you reducing it to 50, you are getting 20% less sound.
Exponential.
No, it is because it is the logarithmic scale, your actually perceived sound could be
Exponential, yeah.
20% of what it actually is.
Right.
So the best product to use is one, have a sealed window like from him, and then you have a laminated glass.
What is laminated glass?
Laminated glass is actually a sandwich of 2 glasses,
Right.
with a soft plastic film in between, which is known as PVB or full term polyvinyl butyl. Now this is very strong adhesion to glass and it is quite stretchable. The most common example you see of a laminated glass is the windshield of your car. The windshield is laminated. Why it is not tempered? Because tempered could also be a safety glass previously, it used to be. Now it is mandatory to have laminated glass so that when you are driving and the windscreen breaks, it does not shatter.
So
it stays in frame.
we'll show
your
you a visual.
visibility is maintained.
Laminated glass, it forms like a web.
So 3 purposes it serves. One is the sound, other is the safety, and third is the UV filtration. PVB is a natural filter for UV light. It filters out almost 99% of the incident UV.
So as a customer,
as
a customer, what is PVB to me?
PVB is polyvinyl butyl. It's a plastic material sandwiched between 2 glasses and pasted together. Now what happens is with UV filtration, the advantage that you get is that your upholstery and fabric and curtains the life will be enormously more.
So by putting laminated glass,
Yeah.
I will protect my
Upholstery, curtains, even some flooring
Especially
materials.
if there's wooden flooring.
Yeah.
And
After some time
let's
you
say
see
if
that
you don't have
discolor.
laminated glass or if there is UV light entering, you'll see discoloration on the floor.
Yeah.
As your floor, wooden floor or upholstery discolored, it's because you don't have laminated glass. Simple question, simple answer. Correct? To a larger extent?
Not exactly, but
one
yeah,
factor.
There could be multiple factors, but yes, this is one.
Yeah.
Like in a home, we're talking about noise, and Mario talked about decibels. If you have a window AC, that's 100 decibels itself, right?
Oh, 50, but 50. if you have a grinder, mixer grinder in your kitchen,
that's 200.
That's 120 or something.
Window AC or
because noise
AC,
travels,
50,
right?
55 decibel.
55 decibel.
Yes, ceiling fan. 55.
I'll give you an example of my own home. In my own home, I have used triple glass, that is a laminated glass, and then it is an insulating glass with another tempered glass.
I've used the same in my house.
Right here as well, behind you.
It has a low, because it comes from me.
Yeah. So you are my guide.
With the one glass as a low emissivity glass. So I have some banquet halls very close to my home. So when there is a party or something, you hear loud music in almost every home. But I am totally deaf from it. No, I don't hear anything. And I only hear one thing, that is morning when there are birds around, because it's on the golf course. Yeah. So morning, lot of birds come in. The chirping of the birds. Because the sound will be depending upon what is the frequency.
Yeah.
And the frequency is the lower notes, which are like chirping of the birds.
You can hear that.
They'll go through all the barriers. We are trying to use maximum mass and maximum asymmetry, because each material will block certain frequencies, will block certain wavelengths, but let others go in. So we use multiple materials, different thicknesses.
Yeah, so I was about to say that even in laminated glass, I was told that it's advisable to use different thicknesses of glass.
Yes, right.
Yeah, so all three glasses should be different thicknesses.
Out, yes.
Yeah.
And even in a double glazed glass, right? Use instead of 6+6, use 5+8.
Yes.
So that's much better.
But if you talk to any lay person, so they think that a thicker glass is always better, but not necessarily so.
It is for the sound point of view. If you put a single thick glass, is better than insulated glass. Now, insulated or IG unit or DG unit, we find that it is not at all addressing the sound, because sound comes and hits the outer glass. It vibrates. Sound is a vibration.
That's in longitudinal waves, right?
Yeah. So it pushes the other glass, which resonates with this, and that sounds travel through.
Yeah.
I am talking to you. You are hearing me. What is the medium in between? Air.
Yeah.
And air does not stop sound. Vacuum does, but air does not. So in market or in normal trade, what we find is that you as a builder or architect, we say, yaar, shore nahi chahiye. I want perfect peace and less noise. He'll immediately say, insulated glass laga. Because that is the first ready-made answer any salesman would give. But there is a lot of heat transfer inside, double glazed.
हर चीज का आंसर डबल ग्लेज नहीं है.
So I have a question to this. So I think DGU में भी there are few variants available, right?
उसके अंदर width.
उसके अंदर width is of course the जो gap, air gap कितना है?
More air gap will be more insulating to sound.
And then there's also some say that there's vacuum inside or argon gas.
There is no vacuum. Because if you have two glasses separated together and try to put vacuum, they'll get together in the center. And
well, as far
or then what about argon gas? So they also some people sell
in that, instead of the dried air inside, you are replacing that air with argon gas.
So how is it different? Does it perform differently?
Argon gas slightly increases your U value or thermal properties.
In simpler terms?
In simpler terms कि जो हीट बाहर से अंदर आनी है, अगर डबल ग्लेज्ड आर्गन गैस के साथ है तो उसे थोड़ा सा कम कर देगा, लेकिन साउंड का उसके भी नहीं फर्क पड़ेगा, बिकॉज साउंड ट्रैवल्स थ्रू एयर आर्गन आल्सो.
अभी हम इंडिया में रहते हैं तो यहाँ पे हीट भी जबरदस्त है,
सबसे बड़ी प्रॉब्लम,
सबसे जबरदस्त है. नॉइज भी जबरदस्त है. पोल्यूशन के बारे में तो मैं नहीं बात करूं तो वी आर अमंग्स द टॉप इन द वर्ल्ड, सो वी टेक द क्लेम. तो व्हाट यू माइट बी थिंकिंग एज अ कंज्यूमर है कि अभी तो आपको कुछ नहीं समझ आया, अभी मैं अनपढ़ की तरह बैठा हूँ, ये आर्गन शार्गन की बात कर रहे हैं, बट इवेंचुअली रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी कहाँ से आती है? हु टेक्स द चार्ज